The emergency lighting cast a harsh red glow across the command center of Phoenix Station, its pulse matching the rhythm of Jack Harper's racing heartbeat. Holographic displays flickered with the desperate mathematics of human survival, population charts, resource allocations, and the grim countdown of humanity's remaining time. 47,312 humans remained. That was it. The entire species reduced to the population of a small town, hidden beneath tons of reinforced rock in the Nevada desert. Jack ran his fingers through his graying hair, the lines on his face telling the story of a war that had nearly erased humanity from existence. The Centauri War hadn't been a fair fight. It had never been a fair fight. When the first alien contact occurred in 2089, humanity had dreamed of peaceful exchange, of scientific collaboration. Instead, they'd encountered the Cronin Imperium, a massive militaristic civilization that viewed humans as nothing more than a pest to be exterminated. Jack remembered the initial attacks. Massive gravitational weapons that turned entire cities into dust. Orbital bombardments that boiled oceans and scorched continents. The first wave had killed billions in less than 48 hours. Governments collapsed. Militaries were decimated. What remained of human civilization retreated underground, into space stations and remote colonies. Phoenix Station was humanity's last real hope. Built during the final months of the war, it was more than just a survival complex. It was a testament to human ingenuity. A massive underground facility carved into solid rock, powered by thorium reactors, and designed to be completely self-sufficient. Hydroponic farms lined multiple levels, water reclamation systems that could extract moisture from the air with 99.8% efficiency. Manufacturing centers that could produce everything from computer components to medical equipment using advanced 3D printing and molecular assembly. Commander Elena Rodriguez approached Jack, her military posture a stark contrast to his disheveled appearance. She carried a tablet with the latest resource assessments, her face a mask of controlled tension. "We've got 6 months of current resources," she said without preamble. "After that, we'll need to make some hard choices." Jack knew what those choices meant. Population reduction, selective breeding, controlled resource allocation, the kind of cold, calculated survival strategy that would have been unthinkable just a decade ago. "The quantum research team," Jack said, changing the subject. "They're close to something. I can feel it." Elena raised an eyebrow. Jack Harper was known for his intuition. During the war, his predictive models had saved thousands of lives. When military strategists saw only defeat, he saw potential escape routes. When communication networks collapsed, he'd helped design quantum entanglement communication systems that allowed survivors to stay connected. A young technician burst into the command center, her excitement breaking through the station's typically controlled atmosphere. "Dr. Harper, we've got something in the quantum dynamics lab." Something unexpected. Jack's world had been built on unexpected discoveries. Humanity's entire history was a testament to turning the impossible into reality. From the first powered flight to nuclear energy, from the internet to space exploration, humans had always been defined by their ability to look at limitations and see opportunities. The station hummed around them, a mechanical heartbeat of human survival. Machinery recycled air. Hydroponics generated oxygen and food. Fusion reactors provided power. Every system was a marvel of engineering, designed to keep the last remnants of humanity alive. Outside, the Nevada desert stretched for hundreds of miles. The surface was a radioactive wasteland, a testament to the destruction of the Centauri War. But underground, in this buried fortress, humanity continued. Wounded, diminished, but unbroken. Jack looked at the holographic displays, his mind already racing with the possibilities suggested by the quantum team's breakthrough. Survival was more than just existing. It was about finding a way forward when all paths seemed blocked. Humanity had always been good at that. Very good indeed. The quantum dynamics lab looked nothing like the sterile research centers of pre-war scientific institutions. Salvaged equipment stood beside cutting-edge prototypes. Holographic displays were patched together from broken military-grade systems. Exposed circuitry and makeshift cooling systems told a story of survival and improvisation. Jack Harper moved between workstations, his fingers tracing lines of complex equations that covered every available surface. Walls were covered in mathematical notations, quantum field diagrams, and theoretical models that would have been dismissed as impossible by any other scientific community in the galaxy. Dr. Marcus Chen, the lead quantum researcher, looked up from a holographic simulation. His eyes were bloodshot, a testament to weeks of continuous research. "We're missing something fundamental," he muttered, more to himself than to Jack. The problem was simple, yet impossible. Faster-than-light travel had been the holy grail of space exploration for centuries. Every known spacefaring civilization had approached it differently. The Cronin Imperium used massive gravitational tunnels that required planet-sized energy sources. The Zentari Collective employed quantum entanglement drives that could move ships across vast distances, but were limited by complex computational requirements. Humans had always been different. Where other species saw limitations, Jack and his team saw opportunities. Traditional FTL theories assumed space was a stable medium to be traversed. What if it wasn't? What if space itself could be a weapon, a tool, a resource to be manipulated? "Look at this," Marcus said, pulling up a complex holographic model. Multiple quantum states flickered and danced, showing potential pathways that defied conventional physics. Traditional quantum tunneling creates a stable passage. But what if we don't want stability? Jack leaned in. The simulation showed something radical, a method of travel that didn't just move through space, but fundamentally altered it. Each potential pathway created cascading quantum disruptions, where other species sought to preserve the fabric of spacetime. This model suggested complete and total transformation. "It's not a drive," Jack whispered. "It's a quantum reaper." The implications were staggering. Traditional faster-than-light travel was about creating a safe passage. This was about turning the very concept of spatial movement into a dynamic, unpredictable force. Each transition would leave behind a fundamentally altered region of space. A young researcher named Aria Rodriguez, no relation to the station's commander, interrupted their concentration. "We've got something in the particle accelerator simulation. You need to see this." The simulation showed a theoretical particle movement that seemed to break every known law of physics. It wasn't just moving faster than light. It was creating localized zones of quantum uncertainty that could potentially destabilize entire regions of space. "The Cronins would call this madness," Marcus muttered. Jack smiled. Humanity has always been good at madness. The research team worked in shifts that barely qualified as shifts. Sleep was a luxury. Food was processed nutrient packets, but the excitement was palpable. They were standing on the edge of something unprecedented. Commander Elena Rodriguez visited the lab periodically, bringing both scientific curiosity and military pragmatism. "Can we weaponize this?" she would ask. And each time, the answer became more complex. This wasn't just a weapon. It was a complete reimagining of spatial movement. Traditional FTL drives created predictable corridors. The human approach created chaos. Controlled, mathematical chaos, but chaos nonetheless. Each potential transition would fundamentally alter the space it moved through. Ships wouldn't just travel, they would transform their environment. Jack understood the deeper implications. Survival wasn't about finding a safe path. It was about creating new paths where none existed before. As night fell, or what passed for night in the underground station, Jack continued working. The holographic displays cast strange shadows. Equations danced. Potential realities flickered into existence and disappeared. Humanity had one last card to play, and it was going to be a game-changer. The colony ship Defiance was never meant to be a weapon. Built in the final months of the Centauri War, it was humanity's last hope. A massive vessel designed to carry the remnants of human civilization to potential refuge among the stars. Its hull bore the scars of previous attacks. patched-up sections telling a story of survival against impossible odds. Jack Harper had insisted on installing the experimental quantum drive, arguing that it might be their only chance of escape. Commander Elena Rodriguez had reluctantly agreed, understanding that conventional survival strategies had failed them time and again. No one expected the Cronin Imperium to find them so quickly. The attack came without warning. Massive gravitational displacement sensors indicated multiple Cronin battleships emerging from subspace. Their weapons signatures were unmistakable, the same devastating technology that had turned Earth into a radioactive wasteland. Incoming, Lieutenant Michael Garcia's voice cut through the ship's communication systems. "We've got multiple heavy cruisers. Weapons lock confirmed." The Defiance's defensive systems were minimal, shields that had been cobbled together from salvaged military tech, point defense systems that were more hope than actual protection. They were a colony ship, not a warship. Their primary mission was survival, not combat. In the quantum dynamics lab, Dr. Marcus Chen watched in horror as the first Cronin energy weapons began to charge. The characteristic purple-white glow of their gravitational disruptors meant only one thing: complete and total annihilation. "Quantum drive is at 62% calibration," a computer voice reported coldly. "Incomplete. Unstable. Theoretically impossible to activate." Jack Harper made a decision in less than a heartbeat. "Activate the drive," he commanded. The ship's captain, Sarah Reyes, turned to him in shock. "It's not ready. We're dead anyway," Jack interrupted. "Activate. Now." What happened next defied every known law of physics. The Quantum Reaper drive didn't just activate. It erupted. A cascading wave of quantum uncertainty spread from the Defiance like a cancer of possibility. Space itself seemed to fold, twist, and then unravel. The Cronin battle fleet simply ceased to exist. But it wasn't a clean elimination. Where the ships had been, a perfect cubic light-year of space, became something else entirely. Sensors went haywire. Quantum states collapsed and reformed in impossible configurations. It was as if reality itself had been crumpled up and thrown away, replaced by something that existed between mathematics and nightmare. "What have we done?" Dr. Chen whispered. The communication systems crackled to life. Alien frequencies, Cronin, Zentari, dozens of other species, exploded with confusion, terror, and disbelief. The Defiance's quantum drive had done more than destroy a battle fleet. It had created a region of space that defied comprehension. Jack studied the initial sensor readings. The quantum disruption wasn't just a weapon. It was a statement. Humanity had just told the galaxy that they would not go quietly into extinction. Commander Rodriguez approached the quantum dynamics team, her military training barely containing her mixture of horror and fascination. "Explain," she demanded. Marcus Chen's hands trembled as he pulled up the initial data. "It's not just destruction. The drive created a quantum state that doesn't just eliminate matter. It rewrites the fundamental rules of spatial existence." The cubic light-year of disrupted space continued to pulse with impossible energy. Sensors from ships light-years away recorded the anomaly. Quantum physicists would spend decades trying to understand what had happened. Humanity had just invented something more than a weapon. They had created a technology that challenged the very concept of spatial movement. Jack Harper allowed himself a small smile. They were far from defeated. In fact, they were just getting started. The Galactic Council chamber was a marvel of architectural impossibility. Suspended in a neutron star's gravitational field, the massive spherical structure could host representatives from thousands of different species simultaneously. Holographic interfaces translated not just language, but complex biochemical and neural communication patterns. When news of the human incident reached the Council, everything stopped. Ambassador Krillax of the Zentari Collective was the first to speak. His crystalline form shifted through multiple spectral colors, a visual representation of emotional processing that would have been incomprehensible to human observers. "This is impossible," he stated, his words translated into a dozen communication protocols. The holographic recordings told a story that challenged everything the Galactic Council understood about physics, space travel, and the fundamental nature of existence. A cubic light-year of space had simply changed. Not destroyed, not eliminated. Change. The Crumman battle fleet, a force that had systematically conquered dozens of star systems, had been transformed into something that existed between mathematical possibility and pure quantum uncertainty. Sensors from multiple species continued to record the anomaly, and each new piece of data only deepened the mystery. Preliminary analysis suggests the affected space region is now in a state of perpetual quantum flux, reported Dr. Lyra 9, a renowned xenophysicist from the Andromeda Collaborative. Her tentacular appendages manipulated multiple holographic displays simultaneously. It's not just a weapon. It's a fundamental rewriting of spatial existence. Representatives from over 3,000 recognized civilizations watched in stunned silence. The Quartech hive minds were the first to break protocol. Their collective consciousness projected a mixture of fear, fascination, and an emotion that translated roughly to existential concern. Humanity, a species they had previously considered little more than an evolutionary mistake, had just demonstrated a technological capability that defied everything known about physics. Ambassador Rentok of the Cronin Imperium demanded an immediate response. His holographic projection vibrated with rage, the translation matrix struggling to capture the full depth of his emotional state. "These humans must be eliminated," he roared. "They are a threat to the fundamental stability of known space." But even as he spoke, other representatives were analyzing the data. The quantum disruption wasn't just destructive. It was creative. The affected space region continued to generate impossible quantum states. It was a living laboratory of physical possibility. "They didn't just destroy," whispered the Zentari representative. "They transformed." Jack Harper would have found the irony amusing. Humanity, a species on the brink of extinction, had just demonstrated a technological capability that made them the most dangerous civilization in known space. The Galactic Council's emergency session lasted 72 standard cycles. Representatives from quantum research institutes, military strategic commands, and xenobiological research centers presented analysis after analysis. Each report only deepened the mystery. How had a species technologically inferior to most galactic civilizations created something so fundamentally world-breaking? Dr. Lyra 9 presented her final report. "This is not just a weapon," she stated. "This is a new understanding of spatial existence. The humans haven't just created a faster-than-light drive. They've created a method of spatial transformation that challenges our entire understanding of physical law." The implications were staggering. If humanity could weaponize quantum uncertainty on this scale, what else might they be capable of? Ambassador Krulax shifted to a deep azure, a color representing a mixture of terror and profound respect. "They are not just survivors," he said quietly. "They are something else entirely." The Galactic Council had faced many challenges. They had negotiated peace between warring species. They had mediated technological disputes that spanned multiple galactic sectors. But they had never encountered a species that could fundamentally rewrite the rules of physical existence. Humanity had just entered the galactic stage, and they were making an entrance nobody would ever forget. Phoenix Station's diplomatic chamber was a study in controlled desperation. Stark metal walls bore the scars of hasty repairs. Holographic projectors flickered with a reliability that spoke more to human ingenuity than perfect functionality. Jack Harper stood beside Commander Elena Rodriguez, watching as the first truly comprehensive delegation from the Galactic Council materialized. They came in force. 15 primary representatives, each accompanied by security details that represented the most advanced military technologies in known space. The Zentari ambassador's crystalline form shifted through impossible geometries. The Cronin representative's massive gravitational displacement field made the room's artificial gravity fluctuate. Holographic interfaces translated not just words, but complex biochemical communication patterns. Ambassador Krillax of the Zentari Collective spoke first. His voice carried the weight of a 1,000-year-old civilization. Humanity has committed an act of unprecedented galactic destabilization, he began. The quantum disruption caused by your so-called drive has created a region of space that threatens the fundamental understanding of physical law. Jack stepped forward. His leather jacket, a relic from before the war, stood in sharp contrast to the pristine diplomatic attire of the alien representatives. "We didn't create a threat," he responded. "We created a survival mechanism." The Cronin ambassador, a massive being of living metallic tissue, practically vibrated with rage. "You eliminated an entire battle fleet, destroyed a cubic light-year of space. This is an act of war." Commander Rodriguez's voice cut through the tension. "We were defending ourselves," she said coldly. "Your species attempted to exterminate humanity. We responded with the only tool we had." The diplomatic chamber fell silent. Each alien representative carried vast amounts of data. Sensor readings, quantum analysis, theoretical models that attempted to understand the impossible quantum disruption created by the Defiance. They had come with an ultimatum, but they had also come with something else, a deep, visceral fear of what humanity might be capable of doing next. "You will surrender the quantum drive technology," demanded Ambassador Rentok of the Cronin Imperium. "You will dismantle all research. You will submit to galactic oversight." Jack Harper allowed himself a small smile. "No," he said simply. The response was so unexpected that the translation matrices momentarily failed. Multiple alien representatives looked confused, their biochemical responses creating a kaleidoscope of emotional fluctuations on the holographic displays. "You do not understand the magnitude of your actions," Krillax tried again. His crystalline form shifted to what might have been interpreted as a diplomatic plea. "The quantum disruption you created threatens the stability of multiple star systems. We cannot allow such a technology to exist unchecked." Dr. Marcus Chen stepped forward, holding the data tablet. "We didn't create a weapon," he explained. "We created a survival mechanism. Every calculation, every quantum state, was designed with one purpose: human survival." The alien representatives exchanged glances. They had encountered many species, conquered many civilizations, but they had never encountered a species so fundamentally committed to survival that they would rewrite the laws of physics to ensure their continuation. "You are giving us no choice," the Cronin ambassador growled. Commander Rodriguez's response was immediate. "We were never given a choice when you tried to exterminate us." The diplomatic standoff was more than a negotiation. It was a statement. Humanity was saying, in no uncertain terms, that they would not be controlled. They would not be eliminated. They would not conform to the expectations of a galactic community that had already tried to destroy them. Jack Harper looked at the assembled representatives. "We're not asking for permission," he said quietly. "We're stating a fact. Humanity will survive, by any means necessary." The quantum drive wasn't just a technology. It was a promise. A promise that humanity would never again be a victim. The research facilities scattered throughout Phoenix Station looked like controlled chaos. Workstations stood side by side with salvaged equipment, cutting-edge prototypes nestled against jury-rigged computational systems. Dr. Marcus Chen watched as teams of researchers worked with a desperation that bordered on religious fervor. Other galactic civilizations threw their most advanced scientists at the problem of understanding the quantum reaper drive. The Zentari Collective deployed quantum computing arrays larger than entire human colonies. The Cronin Imperium committed resources that would have previously been used to conquer entire star systems. They all failed. The fundamental issue was uniquely human. The drive wasn't just a piece of technology. It was a way of thinking. Where other civilizations saw limitations, humans saw opportunities. Where traditional quantum physicists built stable systems, the human team created controlled chaos. Dr. Aria Rodriguez stood before a holographic display, her fingers dancing across impossible mathematical models. "They're approaching this all wrong," she muttered to Jack Harper. Every other species is trying to replicate our exact design. But the drive isn't about the hardware. It's about the concept. Jack nodded. The Quantum Reaper drive was less a specific technological solution and more a philosophical approach to spatial movement. Traditional faster-than-light technologies created stable passages through space. The human drive transformed space itself. The Quartech hive minds sent entire research collectives to study the quantum disruption. Their collective consciousness approached the problem with computational power that could analyze trillions of potential scenarios per microsecond. Yet they kept encountering the same fundamental barrier. Humanity's innovation didn't follow predictable patterns. "Look at this," Marcus said, pulling up a complex holographic model. Multiple alien research teams had attempted to recreate the quantum disruption. Each attempt failed in increasingly spectacular ways. Some created localized quantum anomalies. Others generated energy discharges that threatened entire research stations. The Zentari ambassador's research team came closest to understanding. Their lead physicist, a being of pure energy named Lux 9, submitted a report that was equal parts admiration and terror. The human approach, the report noted, is not about creating a stable technological solution. It is about turning instability into a resource. Jack Harper understood something the other civilizations did not. Survival wasn't about perfection. It was about adaptation. Each failed attempt by alien researchers revealed more about the Quantum Reaper drive. The technology wasn't just a method of faster-than-light travel. It was a fundamental reimagining of spatial existence. Commander Elena Rodriguez oversaw the research with a military precision that balanced the creative chaos of the scientific teams. "They're trying to understand us," she told Jack. "But they can't, because they're looking for a technological solution to what is essentially a philosophical approach." The human researchers worked in shifts that barely qualified as shifts. Sleep was a luxury. Food was processed nutrient packets, but the excitement was palpable. They were rewriting the fundamental understanding of space travel. Alien research teams continued to fail. Their most advanced quantum computers could not replicate the seemingly impossible mathematical models developed by the human team. Each attempt revealed more about the fundamental difference between humanity and other galactic civilizations. Where other species saw technology as a tool, humans saw it as an extension of will. "They're trying to copy our homework." Aria Rodriguez laughed, watching another failed alien simulation collapse. "But they don't understand how we think." The Quantum Reaper drive represented more than a technological breakthrough. It was a statement about human potential, a declaration that limitation was just another problem to be solved. Jack Harper watched the holographic displays, seeing not just data, but possibility. Humanity had been pushed to the brink of extinction. And from that crucible, they had forged something unprecedented. The galaxy was about to learn that humans were far from defeated. In fact, they were just getting started. The first strategic deployment of the Quantum Reaper drive transformed humanity from a nearly extinct species to a galactic wildcard. The colony ship Defiance became something more than a vessel of survival. It became a weapon of pure potential. Commander Elena Rodriguez worked with Jack Harper and the Quantum Dynamics team to develop a deployment strategy that would redefine galactic conflict. They didn't just create faster-than-light travel. They created quantum disruption corridors. A single Quantum Reaper drive activation could transform entire sectors of space, where traditional faster-than-light technologies created predictable travel routes. Human drives created zones of quantum uncertainty. Star systems could be isolated. Trade routes could be permanently altered. Entire military strategies became obsolete. The Cronin Imperium discovered this the hard way. When a Cronin battle group attempted to launch a retaliatory strike against the human colonies, they found themselves navigating through impossible spatial geometries. Quantum disruption zones appeared like mathematical nightmares. Ships would enter a region of space and emerge, changed. Sometimes partially, sometimes completely, sometimes not at all. Dr. Marcus Chen explained the concept during a strategic briefing. "It's not about destruction," he said, his holographic presentation showing complex quantum models. It's about control. We can create spatial barriers that are fundamentally unpredictable. The military implications were staggering. Entire star systems could be protected by quantum disruption zones. Traditional invasion strategies became impossible. A human colony could generate a quantum barrier that would make approach fundamentally dangerous. Ships attempting to cross would face potential quantum destabilization. Aria Rodriguez, the quantum dynamics lead, developed what the team called quantum seed technologies. Small computational devices could be deployed to generate localized quantum disruption fields. A single device, smaller than a human hand, could render entire planetary systems unnavigable. Jack Harper understood the deeper strategy. Humanity wasn't just defending itself, it was creating a new form of spatial diplomacy. The Galactic Council watched in horrified fascination. Diplomatic communications became more complex. Traditional threats became meaningless. How do you intimidate a species that can fundamentally alter the space around them? How do you wage war against an enemy that can make entire star systems simply unavailable? The first truly strategic deployment came during a potential Centauri invasion attempt. A human colony ship entered the proposed invasion corridor and activated its quantum reaper drive. The result was immediate and spectacular. An entire sector of space became a quantum uncertainty zone. Sensors from multiple civilizations recorded the event. Where a predictable invasion route had existed, now there was only mathematical possibility. Ships attempting to enter the region would find themselves in a state of quantum flux, potentially existing, potentially not existing, potentially existing in multiple states simultaneously. Commander Rodriguez's strategy was elegant in its simplicity. "We don't need to destroy our enemies," she told the strategic planning team. "We just need to make their traditional methods of conflict impossible." The quantum disruption zones became more than defensive mechanisms. They were a form of communication. A statement. Humanity would not be conquered. Humanity would not be controlled. Dr. Marcus Chen developed computational models that could predict and generate these quantum disruption zones with increasing precision. What had started as an accidental technology became a carefully controlled strategic resource. Alien civilizations began to understand a fundamental truth about humanity. These were not a people to be pitied or conquered. These were a species that would reshape reality itself to ensure their survival. The Defiance became more than a colony ship. It became a symbol of human potential. Where other species saw limitations, humans saw opportunities. Where other civilizations built walls, humans rewrote the fundamental rules of existence. The quantum disruption strategy was more than a military tactic. It was a philosophy of survival. And humanity was just getting started. The transformation was subtle at first, then absolutely definitive. Humanity went from a species on the brink of extinction to the most unpredictable force in galactic politics. The Quantum Reaper drive had done more than provide a method of survival. It had rewritten the fundamental rules of cosmic interaction. The Galactic Council found itself in an unprecedented situation. Diplomatic protocols that had existed for millennia became obsolete. Traditional methods of negotiation, conflict resolution, and territorial expansion simply no longer applied. Jack Harper stood before the assembled human leadership, his presentation revealing the full scope of their technological breakthrough. "We're not just a survivor species anymore," he explained. "We're a fundamental variable in galactic existence." The quantum disruption zones became a new form of diplomatic currency. Entire star systems could be isolated or made accessible through careful quantum manipulation. Trade routes shifted. Military strategies collapsed. The very concept of territorial sovereignty became fluid. Ambassador Krulax of the Centauri Collective was the first to truly understand the magnitude of the change. During a critical negotiation, human representatives didn't make demands. They simply demonstrated their capability to render entire regions of space fundamentally unnavigable. Dr. Aria Rodriguez had developed what the team called quantum seed technologies. Tiny computational devices could generate localized quantum disruption fields. A single device, smaller than a human hand, could render entire planetary systems effectively unreachable. The implications were staggering. Alien civilizations that had previously viewed humanity as a potential conquest now studied human innovation with a mixture of terror and profound respect. Research institutes across multiple star systems began dedicated programs to understand the human approach to problem-solving. Commander Elena Rodriguez oversaw the transformation with a strategic vision that balanced military pragmatism with scientific innovation. "We're not just protecting ourselves," she told Jack Harper. "We're creating a new paradigm of cosmic interaction." The Kroman Imperium, which had once attempted to exterminate humanity, now found itself in a position of unprecedented vulnerability. Their traditional military strategies became obsolete. Invasion routes could be transformed into quantum uncertainty zones with minimal effort. Humanity's approach to technological innovation became a subject of intense study. Where other civilizations saw technology as a tool, humans approached it as an extension of will. The Quantum Reaper drive was more than a piece of equipment. It was a philosophical statement about survival, adaptation, and potential. Research teams from multiple civilizations attempted to understand the human approach. They failed consistently. The drive wasn't just a technological solution. It was a way of thinking that defied traditional scientific understanding. Jack Harper understood the deeper implications. Survival wasn't about perfection. It was about adaptation, about seeing limitations as opportunities. The human colonies began to expand, not through traditional colonization methods, but through quantum manipulation. Entire star systems could be accessed or isolated with computational precision. Trade became a complex dance of quantum potential. Dr. Marcus Chen developed computational models that could predict and generate quantum disruption zones with increasing sophistication. What had started as a desperate survival mechanism became a carefully controlled strategic resource. The Galactic Council found itself redesigning fundamental diplomatic protocols. How do you negotiate with a species that can fundamentally alter the nature of spatial existence? Traditional concepts of territory, conflict, and negotiation became meaningless. Humanity had transformed from a nearly extinct species to the most unpredictable force in galactic politics. During a critical diplomatic session, a human representative demonstrated the technology's potential. With a simple computational command, an entire proposed invasion corridor became a zone of quantum uncertainty. Ships attempting to enter would find themselves in a state of quantum flux, potentially existing, potentially not existing, potentially existing in multiple states simultaneously. The message was clear. Humanity would not be conquered. Humanity would not be controlled. Jack Harper looked out at the stars from the observation deck of the Defiance. They had started this journey on the brink of extinction. Now, they were rewriting the fundamental rules of cosmic existence. Humanity was not just surviving. They were thriving. And they were just getting started.